Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Tonight yesterday afternoon, we did Fandango Friday, and from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Central Time, and that was very good. I want to do some more research on the one that James had. James P. Bernard had that blue chair, I think rum was very interesting looking. All right, well, I have two bourbons. The first is George Dickel. I got to correct some things. Tennessee Sour Mash Whiskey. And you say, what's bourbon? You say it's Tennessee whiskey. I'm going to explain that in a moment. Let me just got to update something here. And it's going to go up against this Jesse James American Outlaw Bourbon. Okay. One is from Diageo, who owns so many things. Guinness beer, most famously. Yeah, aged 3 years. Sour mash from 10. Sour mash, I'll put it that way, 10, let's see, whisk. Easier to write it that way. No E. George Dickel uses no E, as does the U.S. government. And a lot of people will say, well, in the United States, whiskey spell with an E, and then in Canada, spell without an E. The Dixie Bassman. Good morning, Ron. Good morning to you. Well, in Canada, right, in Canada and Scotland, whiskey has no E. No EY, is just WHISKY. But in the United States, it's an either or option, okay? It's not a law. That is certainly the fact. And secondly, it's the official way the U.S. government spells whiskey is without an E. Check taxandtradebureau.gov, ttb.gov. It's not spelled with an E anywhere on the government documents. And that's just it. So early times, no E. George Dickel, WHISKY. It's like smoky and smoky. SMOKY, SMOKEY. It's your option. It's an option. It's not a law. George Dickel, Tennessee Sour Mash Whiskey, Cascade Hollow, the red label. This is a liter bottle, people. And I bought this at Savannah Discount. Nope, retraction. I bought this at Discount Depot. Discount Depot in Marrero, Louisiana, and it was $7.99 for the liter. And I bought another bottle for my friend David as a shock gift, surprise gift. I pulled it out the bag. He said, "What is this?" And I was like, "It was $7.99. You can have it." Oh man, he couldn't get over it. And then it was gone. Like I said, this thing didn't last a week with y'all. I'm still nursing mine. And he was like, "Yeah, it was okay." And I was like, "Yeah, it was okay, but y'all went through the bottle in a week." Okay, yeah, it was just okay. All right, George Dickel Company, established 1870. They pioneered chill filtering. They brag about how good it's supposed to be. Other companies say, "Are you crazy?" Okay, age 3 years. According to their website, this is out of production at this particular time. And they have like a redundant statement. George Dickel Cascade Hollow Whiskey is out of production at this current time. You know, if it's out of production, that would be at this current time. And that's what that means. It's presently out of, you don't have to say at this current time. It's out of production. That doesn't mean it won't come back. They might bring it back next week. Now, Tullahoma, Tennessee. I've never been to a tour there. I would like to. Can you still find this at a liquor store? I guess you might find it if they have leftover bottles from 5-6 years ago. I think it was in production from like 2003, if I recall, to 2013, like about 10 years. But I never could find any definitive date on when it was first started, I don't think. All right, and there's a whole essay on the side. I mean, I'm not gonna read all that. And then a bunch of writing on the back. Nice looking bottle. Now, some people are going to tell me, I know what they're going to tell me. Hello, Dickel says, good morning to all. Good morning. Morning, folks. Says question mark. It wasn't spelled with an E on the paperwork when I took my TAPS class either, if I recall. Yeah, it's like, but I've had people like get on my case like, they're so, let me tell you what. And I'm like, no, let me tell you what, because that's not the truth. And then you give them examples like, well, what about early times? What about this? And you don't hear back from them. Nice embossed bottle, George Dickel. I like the fact that it's a whole liter. I don't like the fact that I'm about to pour it in the wrong glass, which would totally ruin the taste challenge. Real skinny, long neck. It's like a mallet. This thing's like a mallet. We don't want to give people we don't want to give people bad ideas, especially when my alternative channel is called Anti-War, right? We want to be peace like a river. Now here's the Jesse James. And if you look up the website, it's jessejamesdupree.com. It's American Outlaw Spirits, but the actual website is jessejamesdupree.com. Then he's got links to the spirit section with the Tennessee whiskey, small batch, and the bourbon, the 3-year age. They don't have the 2-year age listed. I guess this is like an older thing, but it might just be an alternative one that they put out sometimes if they just don't want to wait 3 years or something. I don't know, some reason like that. And then their honey flavored whiskey and their spice whiskey. Then they have apparel that you can order, like shirts and caps, which I have no interest in. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just not interested in. So here comes the dawn. I see daylight breaking. Pretty soon, well, I'll see the sun shining down on me. I'll feel the heat of love's flame down on me. All right, and whatnot. So I have 2 products. One that I know is no longer being produced because the website says no longer being produced, but which of course could return. The second one is a mystery because the website is saying their bourbon's 3-year age. I know that's not a misprint because I've watched a bunch of videos for this whiskey, bourbon whiskey, and they keep saying, oh, this is aged 3 years, this aged 3 years. Michael Corleone said this, Michael Corleone said that. So I said, yeah, sure. So I really don't know. Did they start out with a 2-year age, and then as the company got more advanced, then they released a 3-year age? That seems like the most likely scenario, and that is probably why I got this liter bottle for $7.99, because it was probably some, what you would say, like a cast-off product. The distributor was like, well, they said they're rolling out the 3-year and they really don't want this around. So see if y'all could just dump it and try to get some of the cost back or whatever. Supposedly, I've never seen anything official about this. I had a store manager tell me, well, in Louisiana, it's illegal to sell liquor for less than cost. But that person has been known to say things that either he doesn't know what he's talking about, or secondly, he's lying and thinks people don't realize it. I do, but I pretend like I don't. But if it is true, it's certainly not enforced, because I see prices all the time. I have seen prices over the last 10 years that clearly are below cost. You know, there's no way they were selling Cooper's Craft straight bourbon whiskey for $9.99, and you're going to tell me that's all that the store paid was $9.99. I don't believe that's the cost. And then markup, there's no way the markup can be that high. You know, I just don't believe it. Selling Jim Beam for $9.98. When's the last time Jim Beam, a 750 milliliter bottle, was $9.98? You say, well, maybe in the early 90s. Right. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's that expensive now. It's not. But, I mean, those prices slowly crept up from, say, 92 to 2012, or 22. Now they're shooting up due to the government-induced inflation, aided and abetted by the Federal Reserve System, who they claim is independent. Like they were saying yesterday, we don't interfere with their operations. I'm like, no, but you do charter them, and they're always in cahoots with you. But anyhow, so I just don't think that it might be a law, okay, but I don't think it's enforced. We have a lot of laws in Louisiana that are on the books, but they're not enforced. Okay. For instance, open container laws. Other states, apparently, they're very strict about it. Here, ha 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 ha. Now, I can't speak town to town. Other towns, probably in North Louisiana, might be a lot stricter. I don't know. I don't go up there often. Now, if you were saying another thing, like if you say, oh, you're wrong, that's Tennessee whiskey, it's not bourbon. No, it is bourbon. Tennessee whiskey is a type of bourbon. And furthermore, it's not even a legal term for whiskey. Only in Tennessee is it a legal term. It's a state law. The state of Tennessee, I don't know, around 2011 declared Tennessee whiskey an official type of whiskey. Well, it doesn't apply to other 49 states. It's only a Tennessee law. Look on the Tax and Trade Bureau Spirits Handbook. There's no listing for Tennessee whiskey because it does not exist in the law. In law, like the word craft beer, like the guy trying to sue Coors Brewing Company because he said, "You tricked me. Blue Moon is not a craft beer." They didn't trick you because craft beer is not a legal term. It's a marketing term. It can mean anything. It's like the word premium. Everything is premium. Oh, this premium beer, and it's, you know, it gags you like Boxer or Lager. Yeah, it's premium. Or artisan, you know, artisan ale. Oh, yeah. Or special reserve bourbon. This is a special reserve bourbon. What does that mean? Oh, it's special. And who's it reserved for? Oh, anybody that wants to buy it. I didn't describe the aroma because it wasn't giving me much. Oh, this taste. Yeah, there's really no aroma. All right, the taste, you know, just cereal grain, meaning corn, but not totally corn. There's a little rye, quite a bit of rye, I think. But I'm going to reserve. I'm going to hold back on another comment I was going to make. I'm going to be a little careful with that. Okay, let's go over here. Cheers. That one smelled a little bit like a health food store, which is odd. The flavors of cereal grains and that, both of these are mostly corn, yellow corn, grits. Doesn't have to be yellow corn. I'm just assuming that. Could be white corn. Doesn't matter. All it said is corn. At least 51% corn. The other 49% could be anything. It doesn't matter. Is all Tennessee whiskey, according to the law of Tennessee, at least 51% corn? Yes. Read the law. Now they will claim, this is what they'll claim. Well, it's not bourbon because we charcoal mellow it. We drip it through charcoal. So, and my question would be, and therefore, what are you saying? How is that germane to the discussion we were having? That'd be like saying, well, it's not macaroni and cheese because you put gravy on it. Well, it's still macaroni and cheese. No one told you to dump brown gravy on it. You did that. It doesn't suddenly not become macaroni and cheese. It's just macaroni and cheese with brown gravy dumped on it. I saw a jug of Carlo Rossi's Sweet Red for, I think, $9 or $10 at Walmart. That is incredibly low these days. Usually about $15. I'm not a fan of it, but I did a double take at the price. Yeah, it sounded like a misprice. Those prices are unheard of down here in Florida. I know they're unheard of really in Louisiana for the most part. Do I normally see these kind of prices? No, not normally. It's abnormal, but I just happen to have a habitual thing of scouting liquor stores, which in Louisiana means grocery stores and or convenience stores. And I see these things and I say, oh, well, 9 times out of 10, I do not see these prices. But on a regular, but doing that regular cyclical shopping, I run across the deals, you see. Becoming less common. All right. So this one over here tastes like a very mild, light bourbon. Okay. So remember, you learned something today, although most of y'all probably knew this already. Whether you drip bourbon through charcoal or you don't drip it through charcoal has no relevance to the definition of bourbon, okay? So that Lincoln County process that Jack Daniels touts, it's fine. Do it. Or don't do it. It's up to you. But it doesn't disqualify it as a bourbon. You know, it's a Tennessee whiskey because they make it in Tennessee. It's still a bourbon. You say, well, what if they only made it with 49% corn? Well, it wouldn't be a bourbon then if it was only 49% corn. But then it would violate the Tennessee. Look at, I should post a link because some people are going to say, you're wrong. I'm not wrong. It's like on Facebook, if I'm arguing with somebody, it's because I know already. I told the guy, I said, I'm not arguing about things I'm not sure about. I won't comment. But if I'm arguing with you about something, it's because I already know the answer. It's like placing bets. I don't gamble. If I make a bet with you, I know the answer already. If I'm not sure, I'm not going to bet. I'm not going to take the risk. I'm only going to make the bet if I already know for sure. And I'll tell people, I don't want to really take your money. And then you're probably going to try to welch anyway. You're going to try to say, I was just joking. I wasn't really betting. Yeah, I know, because you don't want to pay up. So, but if I do those things, get into an argument on Facebook, for instance, social media, or say, I bet you $100, it's because I already know the answer. See, if somebody told me, you want to bet? And I would just tell them no, because I don't know. I'm not really sure. I have to go find out. That's all I would say. Or I might say, no, because it's not really that important to me. The question that we're talking about, I'm indifferent, But no, I don't want to bet. Sorry. Law of England. Sorry. All right. I like the Jesse James. I don't know what my friend Dave is talking about saying it's no good. Is it inexpensive? It's relatively inexpensive. And in my case, it was extremely inexpensive. $7.99 for a liter. But normally it's $18 to $20, actually. But for regular size bottle. Yeah, it's nice. Is it better or worse than your other standard mass production bourbon products. Yeah, it's about the same. No better, no worse. So if you ask me, what would you rather have, Evan Williams or Jack Daniels or Jim Beam or Jesse James? I would say, I guess wouldn't really. It would be a tie. I would just take whatever you had. I wouldn't make a big issue out of it. But I'd be pleased. Any of those four choices, I'll be happy with. I'd say, I don't drink bourbon anyway. I just do taste challenges. I'd probably rather just drink water. And not ice water either. I like room temperature water, which is eccentric, but that's the way I prefer it. My grandfather was the same way. He always just drank room. He didn't like ice water. I like ice. I like water. I just don't like ice water. Okay. This has a stronger taste, which means I think it's given the charcoal mellow treatment. Does it have the sourdough bagel flavor? Not really, but which you get sometimes with sour mash bourbon whiskey or Tennessee whiskey like Jack Daniels. But it does kind of a little bit have that Flintstone vitamin thingy going on. I drink. Let me look at these comments before I read them. Seems like a lot. 2.5 pints. You're kidding. I also prefer my water room temperature. It goes down easier, says question mark. Oh, good. I'm glad I'm not alone. Like David Bowie said, you're not alone. His stage name was David Bowie. His real name was David Jones. And if that was his legal name. But if you but he when he started getting his career going, he realized there was already Davy Jones from the Monkees. So he said, oh, phooey, I can't be Davy Jones. So he just made up David Bowie after the Bowie knife. That's why for a long time Americans call him David Bowie. Because in the United States it's the Bowie knife. It's really pronounced Bowie. But he didn't know. He just read about Jim Bowie, and he thought his name was pronounced Jim Bowie. Because he didn't live in America, and he just read about Jim Bowie. To say Baba Booey, Mama Monkey. So he said, oh, well, I'll make my name David Bowie. But if he'd have known the proper pronunciation of that historical figure, he would have been David Bowie. Oh, well. We'll just worry about that and the Diamond Dogs. I think this is the Dickel. It is. Haha. Just listen for the silent E. When you're tasting George Dickel, you just listen for the silent E. What I mean is just listen for the Flintstone vitamin flavor. As odd as that sounds, think about it and you can't get it out of your head and you'll notice it every time. Thanks for watching. I can't sing right on ice water, but I enjoy it, but my fine control goes away. Okay, see, messed up his singing ability. All right, I'm going to watch the news. But if they say a guy is bad, then I'll know he's good. All right, cheers to you all, everybody. Thanks, Drewski Brewski.